Okay, the first thing to do is to change the units to millimeters, although you can work in inches if you want to. I'm using millimeters because of the small curves in some of the metal pieces we're going to be working with. So here's the image of the final product. We're going to start with a box that measures roughly 18 inches deep, 36 inches wide, and 42 inches high. All right, convert this to poly, and we're going to connect two lines on the top and the bottom all around it, something like this. Now select these polygons all around, pressing shift, and then we're going to use bevel. If you use bevel, we can extend the edges just a little bit outside, and also at the same time we can give it a little corner on the top and the bottom. So you can see it from the side view much better here, that when I add the bevel a little bit outside, that works very well. So that's about right, maybe about 4 millimeters. Select the segments underneath here and this one here on the inside, and connect with two lines again, similar to the ones we made before. And then select the polygon inside, and we're going to extrude to the inside of the object to create that frame. Detach, and we'll use this just as a guide. If we divide this into 4 parts, like for 4 drawers, it will give us an idea of how big the drawers should be in order to stack 4 of them up. All right, so this is one way of doing it. So these are going to be just the guidelines. So on the side view here, we can use one of these, and I'm going to draw some guidelines, some squares. They measure roughly 22 or 22 millimeters square. Place one here, one below this right here, just about there, and then the other one at the bottom. Now if you press S to turn on snaps, you can snap to the corners and draw a line. So give it the shape of the front of the panel. Make some curves here using fillet. You can change the steps of the interpolation to lower number, like 4 or even 3. The interpolation is the amount of segments between 2 nodes or 2 vertices. We're going to change this to rectangular, and the width about 2 millimeters. All right. That's about a good size. It's most of these things are probably 1.8 or so. Now, if you look at it in the side view, the other dimension of 60 here can be changed to give the proper length. So you can stretch this visually to fit inside the opening, side to side, just leaving a very small gap, like an inch or a half an inch. All right, so now we need to isolate this maybe, or at least we need to look at the back of it so we can, let me make a copy in case I mess up. Now we're going to use, we're going to extend part of this, the back of this, to create the drawer, the rest of the drawer. Well, actually, we only need these 2. This one and this one in the back. Just connect with 2 lines and open, pinch the lines to the sides so that they are very close to the edge. Maybe I would imagine that 1 inch or 1.5 inch space is probably fine. select this polygon and remove it or delete it. Now we can select, I was trying to delete this, but it doesn't matter, we can leave it there, right? So take this segment at the bottom and we're going to pull back with shift to extend it. Now on the top view or on the other view, let's get out of isolation and look at the whole thing so we can see how far back we have to put it. So let me first move this, let's move it back inside, and then we can go back to the line and pull it back. If you look at the top view, you can see how far back it is going. So it needs to be only, a little bit away from the back. And then goes up to the height, maybe no more than this area here. I calculated this sort of like, it's going to fit a folder inside, folder with a rack. Here, we got that part done. Now we can isolate this again and we can extend the sides to create the rest of the walls. So maybe we can move this back here. And that will do. On the top, I like to turn this into a small little, lip so that it doesn't look too thin. And something like that is how metal works. Anyway, that's how they bend metal pieces to make these drawers. So we have the drawer done. All you need to do is just add some texture or color, and we're going to adjust this a little bit so that we can copy 4 of them to go into each one of these spaces. Now if you add some metallic material, we can render and see what it looks like. Maybe let me add a couple of V-ray lights, 2 on the top and 1 in front of it. And that's good. Next thing we can do the lock up here on top. Eight-sided polygon is probably good enough. From the distance, it has the tendency to look round anyway. So we'll inset this one. Maybe we'll inset and pull it up a little bit so that it gives a little bit of a curvature. And then we'll insert a few more times. Now you select these polygons here, and we're going to extrude towards the inside. And while it's selected, maybe we can click on grow, get a little bit more, and add a color. I usually like to add a dark color material to this area. So any material will do. Control I is to select the opposite side, and you can give the color to the other side as well. So the outside should be almost metallic, reflective, kind of a light color, very shiny, and the inside just a flat black color almost as a shadow. And at that distance, it'll be all right. Okay, so now we need to do the side railings. Now the side railings are called telescopic. They are made out of 3 parts. They go one inside the other, and only one of them has holes in it. The one on the inside here is attached to the wall, this one is in the middle, and this one is attached to the drawer, and that small one is the one that has the holes. So we need to make a plane roughly the size of those railings. I'm going to add a bitmap of that image on a plane. I'm going to crop this to size, or just to the area I want to see. And we'll say OK here, apply, and now we can apply that to that plane. Make sure you click here on Show Shaded Material, and then change your view here to shaded as well. So there's your plane. So we can use this to trace the profiles. Now we're going to use a line. I'm going to change the size so that the ball bearings look round. So we're going to use a line, and the interpolation at 2, we don't need too much more than that. Select this and rendering. We'll change the width to 2 millimeters and the length to about 350 or 370 millimeters. So we can start drawing that line now. So if you click here and drag, it will automatically start making a curve for you. Or you can click every time you move from one to the other. And stop here about halfway, because we're going to use symmetry to get the rest of the image. So we'll do the same thing here on these sharp corners. Maybe you can just go straight. All right, that's done for that one. And for this one, because it has holes here, we're going to have to change our method. We're not going to select these two. We're going to unselect that, and we're going to draw the line outside here in the corner here, and we'll correct that thing, those extra vertices later. So now we have our profile on a line. We're going to use a different method. For this, we're going to go into a modifier. We're going to say extrude, and here we're going to tell it to extrude to a workable size. Maybe that size is good enough. Maybe move this into the right area. Convert this to poly. All right, and we're going to add a few segments. What we need to do is lots of small square segments in the center here. All right, so maybe a little bit more so I can get a middle line here. So once you have all these squares, you can select some of them. Now, in order to make these holes here, you can give the shapes to those polygons, to these polygons. You can give a shape manually with vertices by moving sort of like this and make them round. Or you can use a script I have like this one called regularize, and that will automatically do it for you. Now we have to insert this just a little bit like that, because it's going to help us when we do turbo smooth. So we'll do the same thing for the other one. Select regularize, and then we can also straighten this up using make planar on Z or Zeta. Select these, insert, okay. We'll do one here, same way. select the polygons, insert, and also now select the polygons and delete them, the ones that were inside. Okay. All right, so now if you look at the shell here, I applied shell. The corner doesn't look too good, so we're going to have to fix that up and manually just make this into a little bit of a rounder shape. Okay, same thing here. And that's good enough. Now we can now check it's okay, it's not pinched. So now we're going to go and flip this over. And before we finalize, you can see how it looks like now. If you add Turbo Smooth, the holes get very nice and shiny. Turbo Smooth will help you mostly for reflections than for shape. Now unselect this. We just need to select this side here so we can turn it around the corner. So we'll do this manually. Just give it an angle. And maybe we could do once or twice, but maybe that's good enough. This way, when you apply shell, it's not going to have problems in the corner. All right, let's move these to the end, and let me get to the top front view. We're going to move that over. And if we see the whole thing in front of us, we will move everything else to where we want to see it. So that goes to the edge. And the holes here can move to the right a little bit more. And this goes into the center. Use symmetry. And complete the size of this. Well, it's on the wrong side, so flip this over. And we're done with that. So make sure when you put them together, they weld very well without any problems. And we're done. So now all you have to do is just add some metallic texture and you'll be done with this. And that's all for the cabinet and the tracks and the drawers. If you have the right lighting and the right texture, you could render like this and you'll be done. And that's it. Thanks for watching.